Welcome to East by West Farms. Here we grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Today I'm going to deal with this beautiful mess. Here in Texas, the biggest challenge to gardening in the summer is the sun and the heat. This year, we have been experimenting to use sunflowers to create shade for us. In this area, we essentially created a sunflower forest to try to choke out the weed underneath. It worked out very well until 2 weeks ago. We got some very stormy weather and 80-mile-per-hour wind. The sunflowers are all toppled. It's actually pretty good if you just want to choke out the weed because it's so shady down there. I don't think any weed can grow. The problem, of course, is that we cannot get through that, and that was supposed to be a walkway. And another thing I want to do is do some chop on the job so that I can cover this area with compost. The solution for this is that we can try to deal with this mess and make a sunflower tunnel and then drop all the lower branches to provide covering for the bare soil over here. Whoa. This one is much taller for me. It's probably 8 feet. And what I can do is cut all this bottom off. To the height that will not interfere with me walking around. And then I will probably tie this one to provide support for it. Okay, so after I cut the lower branch off, I'm just going to tie this . Together to make a trellis, and this one too. To make strings for tying up the sunflowers, I reuse some of the old cotton t-shirt. You can cut it and then pour. That gives you a nice string that I can use it for one season and decompose it. So there's no waste in the garden. We're trying to reduce as much plastic waste in the garden as possible. So for one piece I cut maybe a quarter from the t-shirt. That's all the strings I got. I can use it to tie up quite some sunflowers. Now I create this arch that I can go through without any problem. I'll continue down this way and essentially create a tunnel. So that way I will have a shade in the tunnel, and I also got a lot of compost done to cover the soil. That didn't take me much time to straighten out the beautiful mess. Now I have a wall of sunflowers on the west side of the garden, which will shade out the hot afternoon sun. And I also have a tunnel that I can walk through. I should have planted some sunflower over here to build a real tunnel. Right now it's just a half tunnel, but it kind of lean on the top, so it's actually pretty good to shade the walkway over here. When you use sunflowers in the garden, and you may notice on Facebook or internet that talking about whether sunflower will stunt the growth of plants underneath it. And another concern is that the sunflowers will supposedly pour out toxic from the ground. So you should not use sunflower in your compost. This year, things are growing slower everywhere in my garden, so I'm not really sure whether the sunflower actually stunted. I can see that it could be not necessarily the sunflower release some chemical to stun the plant. It's just that the sunflower will have shaded the plants and also may suck up water that otherwise can use for the plant to use. That's really a question of if you water enough, where that effect of stunning goes away. Obviously, this is our first year trying to use sunflowers as shade, and we are learning as we go. I think next year I will probably water more for my plants and also have a patch that without any sunflowers and compare with the patch with sunflowers. In terms of soil toxicity, I'm not too worried about that. I think our soil are very underdeveloped and it was not used for agriculture. We did some soil tests before that. There was nothing detected in the soil. I don't think that is a concern for us. I'm going to use these sunflowers as chop in the job because they grow rigorously in the summer over here, and it's a great organic material we have to for chop in the job. In this video, I organized our sunflower plants to make shade tunnel in the garden. The idea is to create this shade tunnel to the west of the garden to shade the hot afternoon sun so that the plants that we want to grow have a chance to survive the hot Texas summer. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumb up. If you have any questions or comments, please leave it down below. If you have not done so, please hit the subscribe button to follow our journey with the East by West farms.